All right, so let's get into this next session. So leveraging your brand to drive profitable growth through social media. Who loves social media? Raise your hand, one person. Okay. One person in here loves social media. Okay, so I'm gonna teach you how to love it a little bit more. And I think sometimes you don't love it because you don't understand it, you don't use it, you don't see the point in it. But I'm gonna help you take a different look at how social media, and particularly I'm gonna dig into 3 different platforms and how it can help your business. But first I wanna talk about brand. So what's the DNA of your brand? I'm gonna talk about personal brand and business brand, and then I'm gonna go into some best practices. Said very simply, brand is a promise. A brand has a setup and a promise of delivering something to you. That's what it is. If you're buying a car, you want the best car. If you're buying a watch, you're buying a watch because that brand's promise is that it's the best watch and this is one that can live through generations and you can hand it down. If you're getting IT services, the promise is that you're going to be protected. If you're getting lead generation, the promise is that you're going to get leads that are going to grow your business. So the brand that you're building out is a promise of something. Now, if you haven't built out what that promise is, I assure you other people are building out their reputation for you. So you have 2 choices when it comes to brand. You either create it, construct it, and narrate it. So you put out the awareness, you put out the narrative, and everyone follows along and you get known for that brand, or others create it for you. But there's no such thing as not having a brand identity because you do. So your goal is to start to curate what you want that to look like and then start delivering on that promise that you create. So the alignment of brand is really important. So there's a lot of great exercises out there. We go through a lot of them with our clients as well. But the goal of a brand is we think one way about ourselves and then others think something about us. The really good brands have a synergy between the 2. They're the same thing. What you think about yourself, you think you're great, you think you've got the best services, you think you're the best in the business locally, you think all of these things. A good brand, your clients think that too. Your prospects think that too. There's an alignment there. When it's off alignment, this is where you get into reputation issues, right? You think you're great, but if none of your clients think that, it doesn't really matter, right? You're not gonna have the retention you're looking for. You're not gonna have the referrals that you're looking for. You're not gonna get the growth that you're looking for. Also, if clients think you're better than maybe you sell yourself, that's a different issue, right? You need to be telling that story. If you've got raving fans, you need to get those fans out there and you need to be spreading that awareness. So the goal is that they're one and the same. The way you think about yourself is the way that the community and your clients think about you as well. And that's the goal when it comes to brands. And there's a lot of big brands out there who do it really well. One of the examples I like to use a lot is Coke and or Apple or McDonald's. There's never a day that these brands are like, we've marketed enough, like we're good. Every single one of these, no matter how big you get, you still have to be creating awareness. Because you know what? If you get to a certain point and you stop, this is when your competitors come in and start driving business and taking their share shift, right? They're taking business from you because they're new and they're shiny and they're out there. So when you're a great reputable business, which I hope many of you are inside of your local communities, the goal is to stay out there. One of the things that we promote at Marketopia is marketing not only to obviously prospects, that's the goal, you want net new clients, but you have to market to your current clients too, because you know very well your competitors are. Right? So you need to be marketing to them also, upsell, cross-selling opportunities, continuing to show your value, all of that, because you don't want to lose them, right? You want to keep your retention where it's at, and then you want to add more on top of that, and that's how it gets bigger. You can't forget about the marriage once you're married to your client. So the goal is to obviously stay in front of your current clients, stay in front of your prospects, and stay in front of your referral clients. And that's really the goal. Now, what are you telling them? This is what you're telling them. You're telling them who you are. You're telling them what you have to offer. You're telling them why you're different. You're telling them all the things we've been talking about. This is what your business brand is. So if you don't know this, if you're not sure, and many of you are the business owners, you've got to analyze that. You need to figure out, okay, what do we stand for today? Is it the same thing we've always stood for? Are we shifting it? Have we changed things? Are we offering different products? Are we coming to the community differently with our value proposition? Who are we? What emotion do we want to invoke in our clients? How do we want them to feel about being a client of ours? It's less about what you provide and more about how that partnership works together and how your clients feel about being taken care of by you. When we heard some of the panel chatting earlier, it's great to hear, a sales individual say, you know what, I'm proud to work for my company. That's what you want every single one of your clients to say. They're proud to work for you. And the more pride that they have, the better they sell your business on the front end, because it's actually a culture. It's real. It's genuine. It's not a sale. It's actually genuine conversation about something that they believe in. And that's belief is easy to sell because you're passionate about it. So the idea is understand what your businesses are passionate about. Understand that storyline that you want to build out for your brand and get passionate about it yourself, number one, and then cascade that through the organization. There shouldn't be a person in your organization that doesn't understand even these couple of bullets up here. Who you are, what you do, why you exist, who you serve, what makes you different, why you're better than the next person, and where you're going as a business. Everyone in the organization should know that. And that's what makes great brands. So it's across the board, it's consistency. And once you understand your brand story, then you can start putting it everywhere, right? So I want to talk about personal brand. This is where I'm going to spend more time, but personal brand can't really exist that well if you don't have your business brand intact, right? Because every single individual inside of your business is part of your brand story. They are part of your logo. They walk around with your shirts on. They walk around with your logos on. When they walk into that business, they are your brand. So it's important that every single person is a good representation of your brand, right? Your clients are a mirror image of your brand. The individuals inside your company are a mirror image of your brand and who you are and what you stand for. So it's got to be consistent, or else you've got holes somewhere. You're not hiring properly. No one knows what it is that they're supposed to do. They don't know the way of the company. So you need to make sure that you've got that situated. Once situated, this is so powerful. Personal brand, so powerful. So just like a company brand, everyone has a personal brand. And it's nothing more than who you are. Who you are, what you're passionate about, how you like to communicate, the things you like to do, the way that you build relationships. It's who you are as a person. So just like you would go and understand from a business standpoint, who are we as a business, you've got to do the same understanding of yourself. Okay, who am I? What am I trying to project to the world? What types of relationships am I trying to build? How can I align that with the business? And that's what you do. So you look at these, I've got a couple up here. It's a lot about character, a lot about what your unique strengths are. And then you play into those and you tell your own story and then utilize your brand also to build out your story across channels. So we'll talk about this. Now, what goes into making sure that your personal brand can start to help the bottom line of your company? So these are things that any person, right? People like to buy from their friends. We all do. People like to work with their friends. We like to partner with friends. It's all about relationships. So making sure that there's, the trust, there's respect, likability, all of that. So as you're going through and you're trying to kind of examine how you show up in the market, how you show up at, your assessments or at clients' offices or referral partners or whomever, making sure too that you've got a good idea of how you're presenting. Because you're creating a relationship, and there's tons of stats, obviously. Most of the communication that goes on is nonverbal, right? The majority of communication between people is nonverbal. So it's visual. It's based on the way someone portrays themselves, the way that they talk, the way that they function as a person. People make their judgments in that way, right? So you need to make sure that the way you are showing up is a good reflection of who you are and being the most authentic version of yourself. And the way that this can then play into business, I'll start to go into it because I really want to just talk mainly about social media. Once you really understand who you are, how you want to portray yourself as a thought leader in the space, because that's what it's all about. Every single person here has so much knowledge about what you do. You heard just a couple of our luminaries share some of their knowledge, and it landed really well because we get it. It's relatable. We understand. We want to talk more to them because we want to understand what they're doing, right? You have that as well, and you have it, and you can share it to build up your own thought leadership. So in order to do that, right, you've got your own brand out there. You've got your own presence, right? If you don't, we'll help you with that. But the goal is that you've got your own corporate brand out there. Now you're going to layer on your own personality, your own flavor to that brand. And this is where it starts to get really, really interesting. So the pairing up of both, if you do it correctly, groundbreaking to your revenue. So referral partners, this is something that the majority of you have grown a lot of your business on, right? People talk to each other. When anyone in your business is out and about, and you heard some of our luminaries share earlier that they train their engineers on listening. They make sure that they're hearing opportunities when they're coming up. They make sure that they know the things to look out for. They are part of your brand as well, right? So everyone has their own personal brand as they're going out and they're representing your company. And it's really important as you are training other individuals on how they can help bring in deals that they've got a great personal brand as well, because people talk to each other. Now, this is a quote that I love. You know, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room, right? It's your reputation. And so again, individuals have this, businesses have this, and the goal is to make sure that everyone in your business is trained on how to actually capitalize on their personal brand and make it bigger and bigger to help drive revenue to you, to help build awareness not only about the company, but about all these great people in your company and all the content that they're gonna put out on their social media platforms that will then bring people in to connect the dots and go, wow, I actually need to talk to them. I got to talk to them. They posted something the other day that was really interesting. They shared some information that made me kind of think twice about something I'm doing in the business. I need to talk to them. That's the goal. So as you're building these, what I call a digital relationship, this is digital relationship currency when you're out there on social media and you're sharing out different things. And so you do it as a business and you do it as a personal brand. Now, why is this important? This is why social media is important. These are where the people are. This is where our eyeballs are. This is where when everyone takes a break, you're scrolling through your social media. You're looking at your LinkedIn. You're catching up on what's going on Twitter maybe. You're looking at your Facebook. This is where our attention is. Social media is the new TV, right? It's entertainment, it's collaboration, it's communication, it's all the things that used to exist only in a couple different types of mediums. Now it's social. And this is where everyone's at. So the fact that many of us are still scared to get in that game, you're just behind, right? It's like the old school, if you didn't advertise on TV or radio or a billboard, or it's just getting out there and making yourself known. So this is why it's important, because this is where the eyeballs are. This is what people care about now, and this is where they're spending their time. So you need to be where they are, and you need to be building that brand where their eyes are so that they can in turn come to you as a net new client. Now, sphere of influence. You have a sphere of influence in the physical world, right? You know people, you go out, maybe you talk to people at your local coffee shop that you go to your Chamber of Commerce events. You go out in the physical world and you have a sphere of influence, the people that you know, the people that you network with. There's also a digital sphere of influence, and that's what these social media engines can do for you. You're building up your digital sphere, your digital network, and your digital relationships that turn into real currency in the physical world. It's not magic, I promise. So it's amazing. And the goal is, and I'll go into LinkedIn about this, but the goal is that you want to continue connecting, right? You want to connect with more and more and more and more individuals that will help you in your business. So you have your target accounts you want to go after. You've got your current clients that you want to be following and that you want to be connected to. You've got referral partners that you want to be following, connected to. And then you've got friends that may know someone that you want to be following and connected to. So the more they know what you do and what you're capable of, the more they can bring deals to the table for you. So I always like to say, as you're building out any sphere of influence, you're looking at every single person that you meet as an avenue to revenue. Every single person that you meet is an avenue to revenue. And this is in an elevator, at a coffee shop, sitting in here. Every single person that you meet, they can be a PR army for you if you share your quick elevator pitch of who you are, what you do, how you can help them, how you can add value. Might not be them, but they definitely know someone. And if they don't know someone, maybe someone else does. But when you're in your local areas, do not waste an opportunity to share your story with someone. And you will be shocked, not only in person, right? Every time you meet someone, you should go, oh yeah, I'll click up with you on LinkedIn. Connect with them there. All of a sudden your sphere goes bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't care if it's your barista or if it is, again, someone that you're just walking by the street and you cross the street with. Every single person is an avenue to revenue. So these three platforms are what I want to dig into and talk a little bit about and share some best practices. Everyone have Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube? Majority? Okay, or a couple of them. I would highly suggest, if you do not, you need to have all three of these, at least as a starting point, if nothing else. So Facebook. Now, how do we go about attacking Facebook from a B2B perspective, right? I hear it all the time. Facebook, it doesn't make any sense for my business. Facebook doesn't make any sense. It's not B2B. It's only social. It doesn't make any sense for my business. Could not disagree more, particularly in your businesses. So in your local areas, back to that sphere of influence, it is more about how you engage on these platforms and using the tools the right way than it is, can the platform help me? All these platforms can help you. You have to use them correctly. So Facebook. Now, there's different ways to do this. I have here up on the first one, multiple profiles. So I do know some people that do the multiple profiles. One Facebook profile is for the business connections. The other one is for everyone in the personal life. You can definitely go that way if there's things that you want to keep separate. But for the most part, if you're out and about and you live a good life and you meet people and you want them to become your client, it doesn't hurt to know a little bit about your personal life too. You don't need to put everything on Facebook that you do. We're, I think, past the times of everything being real-time posted in the same way that it used to be. But it helps, again, create these digital relationships. If you get to that point, and I wouldn't say the second that you meet a prospect, you go ask them to click and become your friend on Facebook. It's too personal, right? But at some point, if you build up that relationship enough, you're deserving of being inside of their personal world. And vice versa. So once you get to that place, it's okay to be friends with clients, prospects, and referral partners. Now, once you get into Facebook, right, and you're going in there and you're using it for other things, every once in a while, it's okay to post and share out things about your business, not to sell. Facebook is the heart and soul of a person and a business. That's what Facebook is. When someone goes to your Facebook, they should see the heart and soul of you. And when they go to your business page on Facebook, they should see the heart and soul of your business. That's what Facebook is. You share what the company's up to. You share the things in the community that you're doing. You share the heart and the soul of your company inside of Facebook. And you do that on your personal page too. So every so often when you're doing something cool in the business, it's okay to reshare that out from the business and put it out on your personal page. And you'll be so surprised. So many people that you're connected to by now probably didn't even know what you're doing. There are so many opportunities for referral partners inside of your Facebook community if you do it correctly. Again, do not sell. People will put the pieces together. I always say Superman did not have to tell anyone that he is a hero, right? He didn't walk around going, I'm a hero. Thanks for asking. I'm a hero. Like, no, he's just a hero, right? So he saves people. He does what he's supposed to do, and people know and look up to him as being a hero, right? People will put the pieces together about what you do. Just serve up the heart and soul, and they will. Now, when it comes to content, every single word on any search engine and social media can be optimized now. So it didn't used to be this way years ago. It can now. So as you are posting things, optimize it. So, and this is SEO. So use SEO optimization, use the right words. And I don't want to get too complicated for you. I want you to just get on here and start doing the right things first. But know that it can be optimized. If you are at that level, utilize your SEO tools, or if you need a company like us to help, we can. But optimize what you're putting out there because it can be searched. Just like if you go into Google today and you put in something to search, and you'll start to see people's Twitter start to come up, someone's Instagram is coming up, there's a Facebook post that someone did, that's because it's all optimized now. So use that to your advantage too, and people can start to see different things that you're posting. Now, water cooler content and hashtags. Now, this back to kind of the heart and soul. Utilize this platform as things that you would just, again, talk about with your friend, talk about with individuals. This is not a hard business sell. This is not major business. No one goes into Facebook to get that. So if you use it wrong, you'll start to come up in people's feeds and they want to just ignore you. They're not interested. So do it the right way and make sure that you're sharing out and using hashtags that make sense. And you will start to see that people will send you private messages. They'll see your post and they'll go, oh, I didn't realize you did that. Can we talk? Can we do this? And do not miss out on communities. So communities in Facebook are huge. One of the things that Facebook does really well, better than LinkedIn right now, is still their Facebook Live features. So the ability to make sure that you're in the right groups inside of Facebook, go in. Each of these social media platforms are like search engines. Go into Facebook and search types of groups that you'd want to be in. Look up, maybe you want to have manufacturing companies locally. Maybe you want to see a local medical association that you want to be a part of. Click up and get in these groups and just listen to the conversation. Listen, offer value when you can. But you can sit in these and just be like a fly on the wall too. And you can get all the information that you need to know about a lot of your target accounts also, and really help to make sure you keep a pulse on what's going on. Now, YouTube. Do not be scared of video. There are a lot of different stats that are floating out there, but boiled down, video is how every consumer and individual would prefer to consume their content today. it's video. Years ago, it was blogs, it was other things. Nobody wants to read anymore. We're all too busy, right? We want to listen on an audio experience or we want to watch it with our eyes. That's what we want to do. So if you're not showing up in these ways, you're missing the boat completely. And again, back to the type of content. So the type of content that you put out is your expertise. You talk about things that you may think are mundane in the day-to-day, 5 ways to keep your business secure. Or, hey, this is a cool security conversation I had today. I'd love to share it with all of you. Start to build an audience. Start to build a following with that thought leadership. These are things that you might think are so 101 and that happen to you a million times a day, but to someone who actually needs that service, this is groundbreaking. So think about everything that you do from that perspective. You've got so much content, you just need to can it and get it out there and share it. So YouTube is a great way to do this. Now, again, you can SEO optimize it and make sure that you do that. There's descriptions that you can put in. There's obviously titles that you can put in. You can see in here how many people watch it. You can see everything that they do. You can put demos up here, anything you want. Use it as a repository of videos for yourself. And then you can take those links and put it out on other social media, right? And use that as content sharing. So YouTube is something that all of you should be into if you're not already. And I'm happy to answer questions on that. Now, LinkedIn. Who loves LinkedIn? Okay, more hands. All right. Okay. That is because you're seeing the value of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is, in my opinion, the most powerful B2B tool today. The most, like hands down, the most. And for a number of different reasons. So I'm going to give you actually a couple of things that you can do, a couple of just quick tricks inside of LinkedIn if you're not already using it this way. I call LinkedIn the Google of business. And it's because you can do and find anything you want in LinkedIn. And why? Because everyone serves up their information. If you're looking for a net new hire, how better to find them? If you're looking for a prospect, if you're looking for a net new account to just kind of see who works there, see what's going on, try to understand what they care about, you can find it all on LinkedIn. Digital relationships are so powerful. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But inside of LinkedIn, so there's this little tiny search guy right here. You could put anything in there. Anything. You can put a hashtag in there to see how many followers are on a hashtag. You can put an industry in there and see, what businesses come up that are within that industry. You can put a person's name, obviously, but this is to search the database that is LinkedIn. You can put a qualification criteria for someone, and all of a sudden, all of them pop up. I know the majority of you know how to use this, but there's so many things that you can put in here. Don't underutilize this search field. It is extremely powerful. Now, inside of that search, you can dig deeper. Every MSP I talk to, I try to stress, take 5 minutes every morning to go into LinkedIn and build your audience. Over coffee, build your audience. Even if you link up with 10 more companies with a quick click of a button, that's 10 more first connections. And every first connection you get, now you're 2 connections away from all their connections, right? And 3 from their connections. And in LinkedIn, you can see up to 3 connections, right? So if you ever look and see, it's like, oh, they're a 3rd connection, they're a 2nd connection, a 1st connection. The goal is you want to broaden that sphere of influence I shared with you, right? You need to get more and more connections. And every time you get one, now you're a 2nd connection to all their 1st connections. That's the goal. That's all it is. So as you start to go through here, in that little search field, when you put in something, so as you're building out your target accounts, as you're trying to figure out who you're going to go after, search them out. And you can see in here, you can put anything you want. If you're looking for medical, manufacturing, whatever you're looking for, and then dig deeper. So am I looking for companies? Where am I looking for them? So you put your city, right? What, is there an industry? Is there a company size? There's so many filters in here. You could go through and just try to sort out who you're going after. And not only there, obviously it doesn't stop there because that's not the brilliance of it. The brilliance of it is then you go into the company and you link up with every single person that you think is important enough or decision maker or just really anybody inside of those businesses. So now they're first connections. So now what do? They see all the content that you're putting out. Everything you're putting out. You're becoming a thought leader and you're building a digital relationship with someone that you maybe never have met, and you did it with a click of a button. And you're starting to create a relationship with barely any effort other than the posts that you put out, now they're seeing, and you start to create this relationship. It is amazing what you can do in here. So I would definitely urge you, go in and take a look. Now, hashtags, they matter. This is why they matter. So you go into that search field, right? As you're posting something that you are being a thought leader about, go in and search which hashtags make the most sense. When you search a hashtag in there, it will show you exactly how many people are following that hashtag. What that means is that when you put that inside of the content that you're posting on your personal post, everyone that's following this, so they might be 10 connections out from you, 100 connections out from you, right? They wouldn't have normally seen it because only your first connections see what you post. But if you add a hashtag in, it goes out to the feeds of all the people that care about whatever that thing is that you're talking about. And that's how you continue to build that sphere of influence on and on and on and on. And I say this because it's important. As you're building out these digital relationships, and I say relationships because genuinely relationships start to form. If you ever followed someone on social and you feel like you know them and like when was the last time you saw them? You have a digital relationship with them. You know everything about their kids, you know exactly what they ate for breakfast, but you saw them 10 years ago. A little crazy, right? But the reality is that's how we live. This is part of our world today. So what we need to do is make sure that we're capitalizing on it. And the way that you do that, particularly with growing your business, is once you're going through over your morning coffee, right? You're linking up with all the people. And a suggestion I would make is don't, for the majority of them, send a note. It used to be ages ago you wanted to send a note. Oh, you know, Terry, great to see you at the event. You know, looking forward to connecting, da, 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 da. That was before all the bots got created. Now when you see a note, you like want to disregard it because you're like, ugh, someone's trying to sell me something, forget it. When people know you, they're just like, click, bip, I don't need to say anything to you. Like, we know each other, dink. So don't waste your time writing a note. And the other reason is because the second that you write a note as an invitation, right when they accept it, they see it, right? It pops up and it's kind of like, oh, now you're making me work. Like I just wanted to connect with you and like move on with my day. Now I have a notification from you. Just leave it. Just connect with people. Connect. Now, once you have your account bases that you're going after, once you have, you know, the people that you're linking up with, and once you're putting out the content that you're putting out, now engage. There's not a person in this room who does not look through who liked something they posted. It is a notification that we get whether we want it or not. The second someone likes something on LinkedIn, it pops up. So in that moment, you're getting mind share of the person who just saw it. If you want to get in front of a client, engage and not over engage. You've got to be real. You have to genuinely care about the things you're liking. You have to genuinely care about the things you're saying. Don't just go and like every single thing that they're liking, right? That's not genuine. But like the things they post, genuinely engage in what they're doing. Share feedback if there's feedback warranted. And they're seeing that and they're appreciating it and you're helping their network grow. It's just, it's this relationship that you're building in this digital world, and it's really powerful. Now, as you start to post, LinkedIn is not a place to sell. No social platform is a place to sell, or else they would call them selling platforms, right? They call them social platforms because you're there to be social. You're there to build relationships. You're there to connect. You're there to engage. These are just quick examples of what not to do. So I can tell you how many bajillions of emails I get all the time. Some companies asking to do the thing that my company does, right? So you know that they don't know who they're talking to. And it's just poor form. So whenever you are inside of these systems, make sure that when you're linking up with someone, the second that they accept your invitation, don't send them the reason why they need to buy every single thing that you're selling and some long-winded note that, again, makes someone work, right? Taking out 10 minutes of their day to read your LinkedIn message that you sent them about something that they're never now going to ever buy from you because you just did that. So this is what you don't do. You don't do this. You build the relationship and they will come to you. When you know LinkedIn is working is when they are inbounding your inbox from the thought leadership that you're putting out there. You shouldn't ever have to send a note to someone saying, hey, I think you would really like what I've got to offer. Let's set up a demo. Let me pop over and see you. You shouldn't have to do that. You may do that after you've built a relationship and maybe they posted something that would make you say that, hey, I saw that you had an issue with this. We actually can fix that. That's an engaging note. Hey, I saw you posted this issue that you had an outage or something happened. I can help you with that. I'd love to pop over and have lunch. But it's a real note. These ones are not going to get you anywhere, and they're going to get you nowhere fast. And typically, they will get you unfriended, right? You're not going to connect with them anymore because they're not caring about you. They're not listening to you. I never said I had a problem with any of these things, right? So back to that listening and hearing for opportunities. And you know, we do it all the time. People post for things that they've got issues with. If you see someone post inside of their LinkedIn that they're looking for a tech or they're looking for an IT person, what better opportunity to say, hey, don't even bother with that. I'll leave you the headache, the HR, don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll handle it for you. There's so many opportunities in here, and people, again, serve up the information. It is all about the value. It's all about the story. And we are in a time, a day and age right now where social media, it's good, bad, and different. There's so many things, just like any other tool. There are ways to use it and ways to leverage it for growth. If you do it right, it is amazing what these tools can do for your company. So the idea is once you bake that brand, you bake your personal brand, you understand who you're trying to be out there to the world, and then you spread that story and that value everywhere you can without selling. You do it organically, you do it individually, and it will eventually lead to revenue. Thoughts, questions? I know, we love it, yeah. If you use it correctly, believe me, you will love it too. If you use it correctly, you will love it, your P&L will love it, everybody around you will love it. It's pretty amazing. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just the content. Think about the things that you like to read. Think about the things that you like to digest and how you like to digest it. No one likes to be told things. Everyone wants to understand it from your perspective. See what a day in the life of you looks like. That's kind of cool, okay? Show me what it looks like to help your client. Show me what it looks like to do things. Think about just unique ways to serve up content to where someone would go, oh. And I always say this is the last thing I'll say. When you are posting something, think about if you have posted, and this isn't a word, an engageable post. What I mean by that is think about the thing that you are posting. Does it make sense for someone to like it, or does it make sense for someone to just read it and keep scrolling? And sometimes you just want to put out something that you don't really need anyone to like it or socialize it. You just want to say something, right? When someone likes a post of yours, it is an endorsement. It's them saying, I completely agree. And I have no problem telling everyone on my social sphere that I totally agree with you. That's what they're saying. So when you're putting things up, frame it in a way that it's easy for someone that's scrolling quickly, like we all do, to go, oh yeah, I agree too, bink. Like, it's engageable. Like, yeah, actually, I totally agree with what you said, doop. And then all of a sudden it swirls around. Sometimes people are so busy talking at when it comes to posting things that they're not really thinking about, is this something that if I was reading it, would I go, yeah, agree. Yep, I'll endorse it. Yep, great way to say that. So think about that as you're constructing the type of content that you put out. All right.